It is nice to see the excitement and the energy and the horns honking and the people and the signs. And from what I hear, these are some of the best signs ever because it's a bunch of writers coming up with like amazing signs. Why should we support the writers' strike? Sam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think at an elemental level, this is just part of being in solidarity with workers who are striking anywhere. So, whether it's a really large visible strike like this one, where it's a lot of people with big public facing platforms taking on a huge industry that's known all over the world, or if it's like, a local doing at a bus building factory in a particular state, like we should always support striking workers wherever they are. Um, I think though that there's another like interesting element to this strike that came out in the interview a bit, which is this question of like big, multinationals leveraging emerging technology, so like AI and things like that, where they're really trying to figure out if they can completely or almost completely get rid of the people that work at these places. So, um, the idea here is like that they're going to start feeding AI scripts or start feeding scripts that were written by people into like an AI and generating this sort of endless stream of content as as um, the striker was just saying, like this is all being rebranded as content, and then you're going to just have like basically like riffs on a theme forever and ever. And from the studio's perspective, that's fine because it's more content. They can churn out like 500 Marvel movies that way. But from our perspective as workers, like obviously that's terrible because there's clearly over the last 10-15 years been this drive to figure out what is the minimum number of people we can employ while still being hugely profitable and still expanding our reach. And also like on a human level, I don't think we should want art that's just a regurgitation of like 5,000 other things that have been thrown into a blender. Like we should want art where it's individual people seeing if they can push the limits of their art form and seeing if they can create something new, create something that an audience hasn't seen before. Like I think people and consumers are smarter than that, and they want good content. And I think it makes us all unhappy when we're like subjected to the same stuff over and over again. So there's a lot that's tied up in this. I think like the other day I was reading that someone who works at an audiobooks company was saying that they're going to try to phase out their readers of audiobooks and have an AI just reading the audiobooks, from now on. So it'll just be like this very realistic AI voice that you'll hear reading your audiobooks. I think we should put our foot down and say, no, these are jobs for people. These aren't jobs for machines. And we demand that we have art that's created by real people. We demand to hear a human voice on the other end of this interaction. And so that's part of it too.
Yeah, how do you duplicate a Morgan Freeman story being read to you? You like that's not fair. I think that we are definitely in the era of the reinvigoration and the rise of the proletariat. People are tired of working for less. It's just enough is enough. Shout out to Workers United. Buffalo is the home of the Starbucks unionization movement, and it's an exciting time in labor right now, and I'm really excited to see all of the workers coming together to fight back against the corporate greed.